Every team wants a guy that has heart and hustle, a guy who has a good story, a guy who hits absolute tanks, a guy with an iconic name, a guy like Jake Burger. Attributes like this are what made him a fan favorite both in Chicago and in Miami currently. Jake Burger was drafted 11th overall in the first round by the Chicago White Sox in 2017. He was drafted out of Missouri State after a solid 3-year stint, hitting .339 and slugging 47 homers. After being drafted, he became a top 100 prospect in all of baseball. He started off in the minors with 217 plate appearances and looked pretty solid while figuring it out. But on February 26, 2018, disaster struck during his 4th spring training game. This is a date so important to Burger that he got it tattooed on his forearm so he'll never forget it. On this day, Jake tore his Achilles. 2 months after this, he retore the same Achilles while stepping out of his sandals at home. This injury kept him out of pro ball for 3 years. For clarification, 1 year was during COVID, so the minor league season never happened. After this injury, Burger had to battle with recovery as well as his mental health. He was dealing with anxiety and depression, and even got diagnosed with PTSD from the second Achilles tear. According to Burger himself, his PTSD would have his mind trick him into the feeling he had while he tore his Achilles. He would freeze and tense up and feel the pain in waves that lasted him anywhere from 10 seconds to 5 minutes. These traumatic experiences led him to being diagnosed with PTSD. During his recovery process, he said Kevin Love was an inspiration for him by opening up about his mental health during his injuries. He also credited the show Ted Lasso for its positive and inspiring storyline, and his family for helping him get through it all. 3 years after that 2018 injury, he got through it and recovered. On Twitter, he opened up about his mental health struggles during this and said his DMs were open and he would be a listening ear to anyone who needed it. He would share details of his perseverance from his long recovery and was there for people who needed it. I know a lot of people from White Sox Twitter, and I talked to someone personally who talked to Burger about his mental health struggles, and he said he was nothing but helpful and extremely genuine. Burger's just a stand-up dude. Jake said he would never forget this quote by his father. When you're hurt, you need to do something to help other people. He really took this to heart and took action. Part of this process led him to create Burger Bombs. The Bombs was an acronym for Be Open, Open a Book, Meditation, Break a Sweat, Set a Routine. He said this would help him out a lot during his struggles, and he hoped people could utilize them. This helped him lose 40 pounds during COVID. He went home for it, and during the day would spend 30 minutes biking, 30 minutes swimming, and an hour and a half playing tennis. Tennis especially was important, since his mom is in the Hall of Fame for the University of Evansville, and his sister played at Missouri State. He gives them a lot of credit for helping him get through the physical side of the injury. No matter how dark times would get, Jake would never let it defeat him. He fought and he trained hard. Everything he went through paid off, because on July 2nd, 2021, the Sox called him up. Starting third baseman Yoan Moncada got hurt and they needed Jake to play. He deserved this call-up because he was hitting .322 with 10 homers in 42 minor league games. He had a great debut, going 2 for 4 with a double and single and scored a run during an 8-2 win. He ended up playing 15 games in 2021 with the Sox, hitting .263 and a homer. Burger kept working hard and started to become more of a major league regular in 2022. That season, he played 51 games and he hit 8 homers and batted .250. He finally earned a full season roster spot in 2023. Here, he played 141 games in the majors. He played 88 of those for the Sox and slugged 25 homers. He was becoming a fan favorite and rather quickly, but unfortunately, the Sox were having a terrible season and traded him to Miami around the deadline. I'm a Sox fan, and I remember hearing about this trade and being very upset. He's a heart and hustle guy. He does everything you ask, gives 120%. He's just a fan favorite, one of my favorite players. It was just tragic we had to get rid of him. He should have been a Sox for life. It hurt to see him go, but a guy like this would excel anywhere. He finished the season with a stat line of a .250 average with 34 homers. Now in 2024, Jake Burger is the slugger on a very solid Miami squad that is looking for a playoff spot. I'm looking forward to watching him play, and I think he's going to have a really solid season following his 2023 breakout. No matter where or how he plays, I will always be a Jake Burger fan. This guy is truly an amazing human and is doing a lot of good for the world that could really use it. He is an inspiration to many, and I hope he gets more recognition. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.